Mm. All right, everybody, welcome. It looks like we're live. I see myself on the YouTube channel, so that is really good news. And let me check to see if we are streaming to Facebook. Hold on, let's see. Okay, I hear my voice blasting in my ear from YouTube. Oh, okay, cool. We're on Facebook too. Yes, it worked. Thank you, Lord. Okay, you never know with technology, y'all. Y'all know the struggle be
That's
real.
right.
So it's not even 8 o'clock yet. So we're gonna give it just a couple minutes for people to hop on. But while we're waiting, first, excuse my voice. I have a cold. Let's just get that out the way. Elephant in the room. I sound like a hot mess. But hopefully you all will bear with us tonight. While we're waiting for 8 o'clock to officially begin, go ahead and do us a huge favor and share, 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 share. So share this stream with a parent who has a child going to college in the fall. Share this with a college student who's already in college. Share this with somebody who's thinking about going to school. Share this in any groups you're in. Share this to your Facebook page. However, you want to get the word out, get it out because I'm telling y'all, this is going to be an incredible session full of information that you are going to need. Every single person who is going to college needs the FAFSA. Whether you think you're going to qualify for any money or not, whether you're taking out loans or not, whether you're paying for school scholarships or not, everybody needs this information. So I want you to help us get the word out. It's a completely free training. We're going to be on here sharing our screens and going really in depth on the FAFSA. So while I'm telling you guys to share, I'm going to go ahead and share this as well. I see the share going out already. That's awesome. So let me go on my page and get the word out, and we will get started in just a second. Thank you to all those who are timely. Y'all are ready. I love that. Y'all are ready to learn. Let me make sure to stream it to my other account as well. Perfect. Yes, this is exciting. This is exciting. I love when technology works because it can be your best
Me too.
friend or it can be kick you in the behind. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're going to give it just a couple more minutes. I see people on YouTube. Drop your name in the chat as well. I forgot to say that. So anybody who's watching on YouTube, let me know. I have the chat pulled up, so I'll call you out my name and welcome you. If you're on Facebook, drop your name in the chat as well, so we can say hey. But again, this is going to be a great session. I'm not going to keep yapping for too long, but I want to give people time to come on in. Let's see. Let me pull up. There we go. Okay, cool. Yep. I see the shares going out. Keep sharing. Thank you, everybody. This is going to be an awesome session. Again, hi Curtis, how you doing? I'm excited to see you on the workshop. Hopefully you got my second email that I sent out. So, but welcome, welcome. Who else? Let us know who you are in the chat. Don't be shy, y'all. Don't be shy. Okay. We just want to say hey. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're tuning in from. What time is it? All right, we'll give it one more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Perfect. Hi, Siobhan. Welcome. Great to have you on here this evening. Oh, my voice, y'all. My voice. My voice. Oh, hello. Tis the season. Everybody's sick. Adriana and I were talking about that before we went live that
Yep.
like every person we know is sick. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to hold you all any longer. So, welcome everybody to our FAFSA workshop. Woo! The FAFSA might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but it is so crucial and so necessary. So, we're so excited to dive into that application and let you know everything you need to know. I'm going to go ahead and start recording this session here as well. Awesome. So before I turn my screen off and pass it to Adriana, I want to again welcome you all to tonight's training on the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your Wednesday evening to join us. And I am just super excited to have you all. Oh, I see more people in the chat. Hey, Omeira and Mark. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Awesome, awesome. So anyway, got a little distracted, but I want to welcome you all. My name, for those of you who don't know me, is Brianna Members, and I'm the founder of She Edits, as you can see all behind me. We provide the full range of scholarship services to high school and college students and their families. I was blessed to receive over $50,000 in grants and scholarships when I was in school, glory be to God. And so I started She Edits initially just to help people with the scholarship essays because I know that can be the trickiest part for a lot of students. But eventually it evolved to helping students with the entire scholarship process. So everything from finding the scholarships to assisting with the essays to turning in their applications to helping with the FAFSA, which is what we're going to cover tonight, and everything in between. So it's not just me anymore. At first, it was boots on the ground. I was doing everything, but I'm so grateful to have a phenomenal team. So we have Adriana, who's going to be leading our session tonight. We have Jessica, Ashante, Katie, and Janice, and they make up She Edit. So you may see me, you may see Adriana more, Jessica, but whoever is leading the sessions, I know is extremely valuable, extremely knowledgeable, and I'm excited to have Adriana introduce herself too for those who don't know her. So before we dive into that content, I do want to let you all know about the workshop that I have coming up on January 30th. So, this is our first scholarship workshop of 2025. It is scholarship season, y'all, which means that from now, January until about May, you will see the most scholarship applications out there. This is when most organizations, businesses, nonprofits, etc., are going to push out their scholarships to the public and to students. And so it is absolutely crucial that you are applying for scholarships right now, especially my high school seniors. Everybody should be applying for scholarships, whether you're a senior, a current college student, a grad student, adult student. Everybody should be applying right now, but especially for seniors, is an incredible amount. There are an incredible amount of opportunities out there. So, with that being said, I want to make sure that you all are being set up for success. So, I want to tell you about our scholarship workshop again that we have coming up on January 30th. I'm actually going to share my screen really quickly. So you can see the page where I talk a little bit more about it. So as you can see right here, it says 14 days. All right. Um, for this workshop, I'm going to be teaching you my 3-step scholarship strategy. This is the same strategy that I've taught for years and has helped people win thousands and thousands of dollars in scholarships. I've had people take this workshop, not even enroll in our program, not even work with me past that, but literally just take the workshop and win thousands of dollars. So I am going to give tons of value. It's about 2 hours long. I'm breaking down my 3-step scholarship strategy. It is going to be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to register, I'm going to drop the link in the chat, but you can simply just go right here to learn sheeditsllc.com. There is a limited amount of seats, so make sure that you're getting in. And again, I'm going to be teaching my 3-step scholarship strategy, how to start your journey with scholarships, even if you've applied for none, how to quickly narrow down all the millions of results out there to find scholarships that match you. I'll be covering essay writing. I'll be talking about time management. I'll be talking about the best scholarship websites to use. And then I'll be going over 4 other strategies outside of scholarships to graduate debt free. So the tickets are just $25, and the reason it's $25 is just because we got to keep the lights on. But really, I just want to make sure that you all are getting the very best resources. And so $25, but the great thing is, as you can see right here, guaranteed. I have a scholarship satisfaction guarantee. So if you take the workshop and you say that was trash, give me my money back, we'll do that, because again, we're not just here trying to take your money. We're trying to give you real value. But again, I'm telling you, like, it's going to be an incredibly valuable thing. So again, the more time you wait, the less opportunities you're going to have. So just simply go to learn.sheeditsllc.com and you can sign up for that. But I'm about to get out of the way. I'm about to pass the mic to the lovely Adriana. She is going to, I'm telling y'all, like it's going to be a great session. So I'm going to say it one more time. Make sure to share this workshop link. Make sure to share this stream rather with your groups, with your friends, with your family, with your kids, anybody who's in college or going to college in the fall. All right, so I'm going to take me and my raggedy voice off the Zoom call. I'm still going to be on here. So what I'm going to do is answer your questions in the chat. So as Adriana is teaching, I want her to be able to focus on the content. So drop all of your questions in the chat. If there's something that Adriana needs to answer more in depth, I'll unmute and I'll read her question out. I'll read your question out loud and have her answer it. So if you're on YouTube, I see you everybody. Hey Mahaya, I see you on the YouTube as well. And I see the people on Facebook too. Nidra, welcome, welcome. But again, drop all your comments in the comment section. Drop all your questions, and I'll make sure to get them to Adriana. Alrighty, I'm going to stop talking and pass the mic. Let me turn my video off. All right, here we go. You got it, Adriana.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for taking the time out to join Brianna and I this evening. I know the FAFSA, just the thought of it is like overwhelming and you're dreading doing it. Some of you may be dreading doing it because you heard such horrible things with the new FAFSA, which they're calling the better FAFSA. So there were a lot of changes that were done to the FAFSA in 2024. And so that's kind of why we wanted to put this workshop together just to help guide you through and answer any questions that you may have. I am one of the team members for She Edits, and I am a single mom of 3 boys. And I started on this scholarship journey because of my boys. My oldest graduated from community college down in Tampa, Florida. My middle son, he is attending University of South Carolina, and he is basically what got me into following students and understanding the college roadmap, the path to graduating debt free. He graduated from high school with 35 college acceptances and over $1.4 million in scholarship offers. He's attending University of South Carolina debt free. He is going into his senior year. So, and he's graduating early. All of that led me to starting my own business as Knowledge LLC. And I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am on TikTok as well. So please join my group. I post everything from scholarships, internships, resources about anything related to college that I think parents need to know, that it's just not readily available, that you can just say, hey, that's easy to find information. I try to keep everybody in the know on everything. All right. So that's the quick little spill about me. Let's dive into this FAFSA. What is the FAFSA? It's the free application for federal student aid. It helps determine your eligibility for Pell Grant, for federal work study, student loans, for state aid, and other institutional aid. What most people try to associate the FAFSA with is that it's a scholarship. It is not a scholarship. This application is just something that helps determine a family's financial need. And the schools use this tool, this application, to put your financial aid package together. So once you complete the FAFSA, you get something called the SAI, which is the Student Aid Index. And this replaced the EFC, which was also known as the Expected Family Contribution. And the reason for the replacement of that, because people always thought that that EFC was what they would have to pay for their students' education. And for some reason, people are still thinking when they get that SAI number that that's what the government is saying you have to pay towards your students' education. And that is totally not true. This is a number that will help determine if you're Pell Grant eligible. That's number one. And also, it goes to the institutions that you put on the FAFSA. It is sent to them, and they use their own formula calculations to come up with your financial aid package. Every school does it different. So there's not one school that does it exactly the same way with how they calculate putting your financial aid package together, because some schools are private, some are public, and some receive state funding, some do not. So it all depends on this school. All right, so the first thing you need before you can even begin the FAFSA, you need an FSA ID. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and kind of walk you through that part of the FAFSA. So what is the FSA ID? This is your federal student aid ID. This consists of your username and your password. It serves as your legal signature for electronic documents related to your federal student aid. So if you want to get into your federal student aid account, you will need this username and password, also known as the FSA ID. All right. Why is it so important to have? It is required for anyone who wants to access their or manage their federal student aid account. So keep that in mind. Everyone needs, every student that is going to college or will need this FSA ID and their contributor, but we'll get into that a little bit as well. Okay, where do you go to apply for this? You go to studentaid.gov. Once you get to the studentaid.gov, you will see here a login or create an account. So if you do not have a FSA ID, then you would create an account. If you have one, then you would do login. If it's a new student that is going to college, has never been to college, they have never received any type of federal aid, then we know that they need to create an account. Once you click on create an account, then you will get this get started. So you would click get started, or you'll be logging in if you already have an account. This kind of tells you, you'll see what you need in order to complete filling out an FSA ID. You will need your social security number, you need your own email address, and a cell phone number so they can send codes for your phone for the two-step authentication, multi-factor authentication, I think is what they call it. So let me back up. For the student, they need to use their own email address. They need to use their own cell phone number. So for the parent that is contributing information, the parent will have to use their own email address and their own cell number. You can't use the same information. Once you do that, you will enter your personal information. This is the tricky part that gets everybody caught up. For students and for parents, you need to enter in this information the way it is on your Social Security card. Whatever the Social Security Administration has, that is how you need to fill this part out. Keep that in mind. You need to fill it out. Make sure that you spell the name exactly how it is with the Social Security Administration. Do not add any extra spaces or anything like that. So make sure before you continue on that you have everything correct. If you get to this screen below, you may already have an account or you entered some information incorrectly. So usually it'll be parents that will run into this. If you have ever attended college, even if you didn't graduate, but you received some type of federal aid, federal loans, federal work study, anything of that nature, then that means you probably already have an account. So I recommend that you do the forgot my username and forgot my password to retrieve your username and password, which again is your FSA ID. So the reason why we tell people that you should not wait to apply for your FSA ID, because it takes 2 to 3 business days for your information to get verified. So they will not process your application until you have been verified by the Social Security Administration. So again, this is not something you want to wait to the last minute to do. So for students that are going to school fall of 2026, that means you will be doing this FAFSA form in this coming up fall 2025. So do your FSA ID request during the summer. That way you'll beat the rush. You will not risk the chances of the system shutting down because everybody's trying to jump on it at once the same day that the FAFSA opens up. So that's usually what happens. They run into that problem. So to avoid that, do it ahead of time. Do not wait until the last minute. This is not something you have to wait on. You can go ahead and apply for this now. If you continue to have problems with having access, this is for my parents. If you continue to have issues accessing your information, on that login screen at the bottom, it should be something that says, help me log into my account. Once you get there, it will take you to a page with several different scenarios, and then you will have to find the scenario that fits you and follow those instructions. And also, if you have any issues, they do provide a number, a 1-800 number, and you can call them and they can help you. But I can tell you now that usually there's a long wait. So if you can do it yourself, retrieving your information, that would be better than waiting online. So let's talk about who needs an FSA ID. And this is a little confusing for a lot of people as well. Who needs an FSA ID? Every student planning to attend a 2-year, 4-year, or trade school needs one. The contributor also needs one. You have to figure out who is going to be the contributor. So this could be, it would have to be a biological parent or your adoptive parent. It can't be your foster parent or a legal guardian. It has to be your biological parent. So a parent needs to know their filing status if they're married. So if you're married, filing jointly, only one parent needs an FSA ID because both of your information will be pulled in from the IRS from your tax form. So they don't need both parents to contribute their tax information because it'll be on your one tax document.
Adriana, I accidentally muted you about 10 seconds ago. I was trying to unmute and say something and I accidentally unmuted you. We have one quick question. What if you don't live with your biological parent or you don't have contact with them? What if you are a foster student or something like that and you're still muted?
So if you do not live with a biological parent, you have to identify as being an independent student. So as you're going through the FAFSA, as you go through the student portion, it will ask you certain questions. And depending on how you answer those questions will determine if you need that parent to be a contributor. If you, there is a question on there that asks if you do you have any contact with your biological parent? Are you unable to contact your biological parent? So you may have to provide proof or some type of documentation to your institution where you're planning to attend school so they can deem you independent.
Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to back up just in case y'all didn't hear the married filing separate part. If you're married filing separate, both parents will need an FSA ID. That means you have to contribute both of your tax information. If the parents are unmarried, but both live in the same household, you both need an FSA ID. Both of you still have to contribute the information. If parents alternate on who's claiming the child, you will have to, on your taxes, you will have to decide who will be the contributor, because it's no longer based on the parent who claims the child on their taxes is the one that has to fill out the FAFSA. That's not how it goes anymore. So keep that in mind. If the spouse that is contributing the information is remarried, I say if the parent is remarried, if the spouse is a step parent, they have to contribute their information now. So no matter of the filing status, they will have to contribute their information. So keep that in mind when you are completing the FAFSA. But this is just an overview of who needs an FSA ID. The rule of thumb is the parent that contributes the most financially is the one that is supposed to have the FSA ID.
Hey, Adriana, we have another question.
Okay.
So somebody said, so married filing jointly, if I
Mhm.
apply as a contributor, in whose name would the parent loan be placed? I'm asking because my income is very low. So if they pull my credit for the loan, I'm concerned.
So if if you're married filing jointly, both parents' information will be pulled um into the FAFSA application. And this information will go off to the school. The school will put together your financial aid package. Most students are offered loans, so it's not a guarantee that you will be offered a Parent Plus loan, because that's usually where the parents come in as far as the loans. Generally, when loans are offered, it's the direct and unsub loans, and those will go in the student's name. But if there's a Parent Plus loan offered, then one of the parents will have to fill out that information, and it's usually the parent who did the FSA ID. Is usually the one that does the Parent Plus loan. If it comes back that you are denied, then they will go back and offer the student additional funding in student loans if the parent is denied the Parent Plus loan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So this is just another diagram that shows you about the parent contributor and who needs an FSA ID. Again, biological or adoptive parent. You go here. Did your parent file a joint tax return? Yes or no? And it will give you a good little outlook on who needs to provide the FSA ID. All right. That is all right. So now we're going to move over to the FAFSA and completing the FAFSA application. So where do you go to complete the FAFSA application? You go to, sorry, 1 second. Oh, sorry about that.
Adriana, one more follow-up question from the parent from earlier. She said, so is it wiser to do the FSA ID in the name of the higher paid parent?
That is supposed to be how it goes. But for if you're married filing jointly, it really doesn't matter, because both of your information is going to be pulled in regardless. So it really doesn't matter which parent does it, because both of your information will be pulled in.
Perfect. Thank you. And everybody, I did drop a link to a handout. I meant to say that earlier. So there is a free handout that's going along and covering everything Adriana's talking about. I'll drop that on YouTube and on Facebook once more, but I just wanted to make sure everybody has that so you can download that and keep that.
Okay. All right. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. So you will go back to studentaid.gov, because now you have your FSA ID. And so you're just going to simply log in. This is what the home screen looks like. You can log in to your account, or you can click start new form. It should say, if you have not completed it for this year, it should say 2025, 2026 is what it should say. And you will click start new form. This is what the login page looks like. Again, that's that help me log into my account if you have issues. If you need help retrieving, you have the forgot my username, forgot my password. Right, then you come to a screen. This is something that's important as well. The way the new FAFSA is designed, it is designed for the student to complete their portion first. That's the way it's set up, for the student to complete their portion first, and they will invite the parent to complete their portion. So remember, student completes it first. I highly recommend, do not let your student do this by themselves. Even though the student's supposed to complete it first with their login information, please be there with them, because this is new. This can be a little confusing, some of the questions. So you want to make sure that they're answering everything correctly and they're just not rushing through it. I will say that you can get through this in about 30 minutes. I have done my sons from start to finish, including my portion, within less than 30 minutes. So I know that it can be done. It should not take you more than an hour to complete. So then they give you step-by-step videos also of what to expect. So you can just kind of scroll through those. What you'll see, then you'll come to the student identity information. And this is, you're just going through making sure everything is correct, that you don't have to make any edits or corrections. But keep in mind, if you change anything like with your name, or email address, social security number, date of birth, then you will have to go back through the verification process again. So again, that might take you 2 to 3 days. So make sure you enter everything correctly the first time. Okay. Then it will take you to the student identity information portion. One little thing, when you start typing in the state and the city, start typing in a little bit. It should pre-populate, and then click on it that way. Sometimes it will be tricky if you type it all out and then hit enter without selecting what they pre-populated. It can cause glitches. They may have fixed it this year, but last year that was a big issue, and that was the workaround for that. Right, student state of legal residence. So this is something that gets a lot of people, and a lot of students are like, what do they mean? When did I become a legal resident? For most students, it'll be the year and month that they were born. But if you just move to a new state, this is not the state that the student was born in, then you need to put in when did they become a legal resident of the current state that you're living in. Parents, you're going to have to know this same information on your side of the form as well. Then you'll come to the parent consent or be ineligible for federal student aid. So you want to make sure that you select approve on this portion, that your parent will give consent for their information to your FAFSA application. If you do not select approve, your child will not be eligible for any federal financial aid. All right. And then there are just some more frequent questions that you'll have to answer. Then you'll go into dependent personal circumstances. And in these, as you move to different sections, they will give you a little blurb about what to expect in this section. So the student will put in their marital status. Most will be single, never married. Then you will have to put in that you're a first year freshman. And this is a question that has tripped up some students too. They have put yes for when the student begins the school year, will they have their first bachelor's degree? The answer to this question is no, because they have not received a degree. Yes, they're going to go to school for a bachelor's degree, possibly. So you want to make sure you answer no to this question, because if not, they will only say that you're eligible for student loans. They will not say that you're eligible for Pell or anything like that, because grad students are not eligible for Pell. Okay, then you have students' personal circumstances, and this is where you would select if you are an orphan, can't even see. I'm trying to enlarge it so y'all can kind of see the questions a little bit. Are you serving active duty? Were you homeless at any time? So those are some of the different personal circumstances that they have on that screen. So then it will ask another question again. Were you homeless at any time during, I think it'll say 2024 on the one. If you're filling it out for this year, you will say no. And then student unusual circumstances. This is as if unusual circumstances will prevent your parents from, if you're, can't even talk, prevent them from contacting their parents. So this kind of answers that question to the person that asked about not living with the biological parent. This is where you would answer according to your circumstance here. All right, this is another tricky one that you have to pay attention to this. Apply for direct unsubsidized loans only. You want to say no. If you answer yes, you will be ineligible for financial aid. So you want to make sure that you answer no to this question. So now we're getting into the part where the student has to tell about the parents. They're going to ask if the parents are married to each other. You're going to answer yes or no. And then you'll come to the screen where you have to enter the parents' information. And depending on how you answered that previous question will determine if you have to enter both parents' information or just one. But you have to make sure that the student, or if you're helping them fill it out, is entering your information correctly, that they're entering the correct email address that you use, and that they have your social security number correct. And then once you enter all of that, they'll send the invite to the parent. And then you'll continue on through and you'll start going into the student demographics. And then this is just the basic information, gender, your race, student ethnicity, your citizenship. Then it asks about your parents' education status. So did either of the students' parents attend college? That's a yes, no, or they don't know. Parents killed in line of duty. Then you have to put in the student's high school completion status. You're going to select high school diploma. If you did a GED certificate, then you will have to select that. If you're homeschool, you would select that. All right, so now you come to the screen where you have to include the student's high school information. Again, put in the state, start typing it in, let it pre-populate and select from there. This is where it gets tricky because, and I like to tell parents, if your high school does not come up when you put in your city, try putting in the next largest city to you and see if the school will come up that way. Because sometimes when you have, we're just going to say Atlanta, but you live in Alpharetta, the school might be listed under Atlanta, Georgia, under for federal purposes and not Alpharetta. So you might want to kind of play around with the city if your high school does not pre-populate. Right? The student will confirm that their high school is correct. Then we start going into the student's finance. So it's going to ask you if they filed a tax return. You're going to say, and then it's going to ask you about grants, scholarships, and AmeriCorps. This will only apply to students who are current college students and they have received some type of scholarships or grants. That means you got that 10, I think it's a 1098T, I believe is the form. If you've received one of those, that's where you will put this information. Most students won't have foreign earned income, so you will put 0. So now you will go into the student's assets. Current total cash savings and checking account. So this is what you have on hand right now, not what you plan to have in the future, what you had in the past. What's today? What do the student have in their pockets? Do they have only $20 in their pockets and they don't have savings or a checking account? Then $20 would go here. If they don't have a business or anything like that, investments, real estate, that will all be $0. So now we're going into selecting your college. So I highly recommend before you start this for the students to have all of the colleges that you know you want to apply to, have the names of those colleges. If you have their codes, you can use those, or you can search for them within the form. You can list up to 20 schools. Once your application has completely processed and you still have to go back to add more schools, then you can go back in and edit that portion, edit this portion by removing schools and adding those new schools on so that they can receive your information. Again, you can add up to 20 schools. This is where you're kind of confirming all of the schools that you've selected and make sure that you've added all of them. Put them all on there the first time. Even if you don't think that you're going to go to that school, you just never know, circumstances may change. So make sure that you add all of the schools the first time around. So this is the screen where you can review all of your information that you've put in. And then it shows who was invited, which contributors were invited, if it was just only one parent or both. And then this is the end. You sign and complete your part. Make sure you check the box and then hit submit. Do not hit submit without checking that box. Then you'll get this screen that you're almost there. From here, this is where the parent can go into your email, and you should have an email that says you've been invited to complete John's FAFSA. There should be a link within that email that you can click on that will take you to the screen where you can log in, put in your login information, or you can go into studentaid.gov and log in from there. So those are the two places that you can log in. Just remember, if you're completing this with your child in one sitting, make sure that they log out completely, because if you go directly to studentaid.gov and try to log in, it's going to be their information. It's going to be their account. So then you'll be looking like, I don't see where I can access my portion. That's because you're probably still logged in under the student. All right. So the parent, once you go through this is basically the same steps that you will go through during the parent portion. The only thing with the parent portion, if you filed a tax return, you will give consent for them to pull your information. If it's pulled successfully, you will have a box that pops up that lets you know it was pulled successfully. One of the things on there is a question that asks about benefits, federal benefits that you've received. And this is one that trips up a lot of people. It asks if your student received free or reduced lunch. You only check that box if you filled out some application and the federal government said that you are eligible for free or reduced lunch. If it's your whole county receives federal, your school district receives federal or reduced lunch, that this does not apply to you. You do not check that box. So a lot of people have made that mistake last year. So make sure that you don't check that box unless you have completed some form and the government has told you that you are eligible for free or reduced lunch. So once the parent or both parents have completed their portion of the FAFSA, then you'll get that same screen that says your portion is complete, and the student will then receive an email and that says that their FAFSA is completed, and it will give them their SAI number. It will also give them a little verbiage of if they're Pell Grant eligible and about how much. But if they do not see that information, you can go to what they call the submission summary. So we're going to take a look at that. I'm going to jump to that part of it. So this is your FAFSA submission summary landing page. And so this is going to give you like an overall view. And you can find this once your FAFSA has completely processed. You will have access to this information to download, save, print out, so you can have that information. So it kind of gives you a breakdown, and I'm going to try to enlarge it. So it kind of gives you a breakdown. If you're federal Pell Grant eligible, it'll tell you up to this amount. If you're eligible for loans, up to this amount. And if you may be eligible for federal work study. This does not mean that you're going to get the federal work study, awarded federal work study. It just says you may be eligible. And the school has the option to provide that in your financial aid package. Mind you, this number says up to, because once the school receives your FAFSA information and they put their calculations together, the amount may not be the $4,556. All right. So then you have what we've been talking about, that student aid index, that infamous number that throws everybody off. So let me just give you, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So when you talk about this number, if it's 0 or less, so a negative number, some people have gotten a negative 1,500 or whatever that number is, 0 or less, that tends to mean that you'll be eligible for full Pell. Full Pell is around $7,300. I think it's $365. So that's the full Pell amount. Between one, if you receive a number between 1 and 500, 5,800, we'll say 5,800, you'll have a prorated amount of Pell. So a SAI of around 1,000, your Pell is approximately $6,395. Or if your SAI is around 3,000, you'll get about $4,300. If your SAI is around 5,000, then you'll get around $2,300. So it's it's hard to say exactly. Before, there was this whole chart with this EFC chart that they had before, that you can kind of go down and you can kind of see what your EFC number would be. So they don't really have a full chart out like that. So this is just kind of an estimate. So don't quote us on this is, oh, I got this number and that lady said I'm going to get this. These are estimates. So this does not mean this is necessarily what you will receive. Now, I do want to say a lot of people feel like filling out the FAFSA, what's the point? I'm not going to get any money anyway. Fill it out, because you never know if you have some type of lifestyle change. You may, God forbid, you lose your job. I had a parent whose house burned down and they had to move and live in a hotel, and so that was a financial burden on them. If you suddenly have a amount of medical bills that you unexpectedly have to pay, you can appeal your financial aid and let them know of your financial changes. But they can't do anything if you haven't completed the FAFSA. If they don't have a FAFSA on file, an SAI number on file, then you have to start this process all from the beginning. If you never did the FSA ID, you have to do that, wait 2 to 3 days for that to be verified. Then you have to fill out the application. Then you have to wait on the school to process everything. So then now you're looking at week, 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on what time of year it is for the financial aid office. So I highly recommend completing the FAFSA, regardless if you think it's something you won't get. You just never know if you may need that financial assistance. It was something else I had. Oh, filing early. So a lot of the students that I work with, I always advise them to file as soon as possible, because every school has their own deadline. The state have their own deadline. So I live in the state of South Carolina. We have state aid that's like the fellow can't even think of it. Pro Fellows, Life Scholarship, the Lottery Scholarship. Over in Georgia, they have the Hope Grant, the Zell Miller Grant and Scholarship. You have to complete the FAFSA before they will release those funds. If you qualify, you have to complete that. So for state aid, for most states, they require you to complete the FAFSA. A lot of scholarship, not a lot, some scholarship organizations, especially the ones that are need-based, they will ask for your submission summary, and to show if you're Pell Grant eligible. Also, if you get that email that says that you completed the FAFSA and it has the SAI ID on that, make sure the child sends that email to you so you will have a copy of it as well. Because as they're doing scholarships, if you do not have access right away to the submission summary page, you can oftentimes send them that email and they will accept that as proof that you're Pell Grant eligible. So keep that in mind as well. So
Quick
again,
question. Oh, sorry, Adriana.
go ahead.
Quick question. So, how long after the student submits their application will they get the student summary?
So usually it can take it's been different. So I'm not sure how long it's taking this year, but I would say give it at least 3 to 5 business days before checking to see if it's fully processed. Now, once it has completely processed, they're not going to tell you what you're going to get, what merit scholarships you're going to get, or anything like that. You will have to reach out to the school that you're planning to attend, financial aid office. They will be the ones that will provide you all of that information. If you have to make any corrections, they will let you know that, hey, okay, well, since your circumstances change or you providing us this information, then you need to go back in and make those corrections in the FAFSA. And so just make sure that the school follows up that they receive your corrections once you go back in and do that. All right. So I think that is all that I have. Remember, if you have any questions, reach out to the school's financial aid office. They will be able to help you once you have completed the FAFSA and it shows that it has processed. Then from there, you need to deal with the school because they're the ones that will be providing you your financial aid package, not studentaid.gov.
Thank you, Adriana. That was absolutely wonderful. Does anybody have any additional questions? So I'm checking the chat. If I have Facebook open, I have YouTube open. So now is the time. We have a few more minutes. So if you have any questions about anything that she said, anything that she didn't cover that you still are unsure about, go ahead and drop those questions in the chat and we will get those answered. Like I said, we have a few more minutes, and so I want to make sure that everybody is feeling good. But Adriana, that was wonderful. As they're typing in their questions, can you talk one more time about Ask Knowledge and about the services that you provide as well? I want to give you an opportunity to do that.
So with Ask Knowledge, I kind of guide students through the college application process. I kind of help them figure out where they're trying to go to school, what they may want to major in. I give them the resources to find scholarships. And so a lot of my information I post in my private Facebook group. So I joined Ask Knowledge LLC. I guess I can drop it in the chat. Come through. Okay.
I got it. Yep, I'll drop that in the chat for
Okay.
everybody.
All right. So if you click on that link, you can join and I post scholarships there. I post like I said, internships. I post any information that I get about schools, things that are changing with schools. I try to post that there. I try to highlight colleges that are usually not well-known schools. Let's see, what else do I post over there? That's about it, I think.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I dropped that in the chat for everybody. I don't see any more questions. Oh, okay, here's one. So Jennifer asked, she said, this will be my second child in college. Will they pull our current information over to my son's application?
So some information will pre-populate because you already have an FSA ID. So yes and no. So as far as your income information, you will still have to give consent for them to pull in your IRS information. So as long as the IRS can successfully be retrieved, that information from the IRS can be successfully retrieved. That's less information you will have to put in. If they can't successfully pull it in, then you are manually entering all of that information. So that's why you need to, and I should have said that at the beginning, you need to have a copy of your tax return with you just in case you have to provide that information. Any assets information, you make sure you have that with you just in case you have to enter it.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. I think that was the only follow-up question, but Omeira said, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, but they said thank you so much. Seeing the screenshots of the FAFSA process helps make it less scary, and I completely agree. I know that just the sound of it can be intimidating, especially after all the drama from last year. So I know a lot of parents aren't looking forward to that part of the process, but it's a lot easier than y'all think it is. Literally, it's just
Yes.
an application that's asking about your information. So it's not too different from other applications that you'll fill out. There are certain like little quirks and stuff about it that Adriana did a really good job of covering. But overall, like it's a very straightforward application and it will open you up for state and federal opportunities. And again, like Adriana emphasized, even if you feel like your family makes too much money to qualify for any federal aid, that does not mean that you will not qualify for some state aid. So there's like two scholarships that I received, or not scholarships, but state grants that I received. I didn't get the federal Pell Grant because my family made too much money. So I didn't even apply for the FAFSA at first. Like I was like, I don't really like even need this. I didn't really see the importance. But then I realized that Indiana, we have a ton of grants and we have a ton of teacher grants. And so even though I wasn't eligible for the federal Pell Grant, there were some state grants that I was eligible for that where it didn't matter how much income I had. So definitely make sure you're filling that out for a multitude of reasons. But Adriana, that was a wonderful success, wonderful session. Live for Free said if it was processed on 12/2, so December 2nd, should the school know if she got the Pell Grant by now?
They should. But it all depends on every school has a period where they will process financial aid. And some schools do it on a rolling basis, and some will not do it until March or April. So the school that my son attends, they do not send out financial aid packages until mid-March. So you could be waiting that long and you may call, and that's probably what they'll tell you. We don't have that information. We will not process until da 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 date. But again, you can go on to your account, your student aid account, and see if it says that you're Pell Grant eligible. 9 times out of 10, if it says you're Pell Grant eligible, you will be getting Pell.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause, virtual round of applause for Adriana. Thank you so much. Again, that was super informative.
Welcome.
I want to throw the worksheet or the handout rather one more time in the chat for everybody because it just summarizes everything that Adriana talked about. So make sure to open that, download that. You can save it as a PDF, and that's going to be a really, really helpful document. And then before we wrap up the session, we did really good on time. It's just 9 o'clock right now. But I first of all want to thank everybody again for joining. If you want more valuable scholarship information, I have fantastic news for you. On January 30th, we will be hosting our first scholarship workshop of 2025. I am so excited because this session is going to prepare you for scholarship success. I always see this as the new year starts, everybody's rushing to find scholarships. Like, I think what happens is they know, like parents and families and students see that, oh, this is the year that I have to figure out how I'm going to pay for school. At first, it kind of seemed far off, but once January 1 hits, it's like, okay, I have 8, 9 months to figure out this big old tuition bill. But you don't have to do it alone. As you can see, we are here for you. So January 30th is going to be the scholarship workshop. Again, for those of you who are on here earlier, we're going to cover a ton of information. I'll be giving my 3-step scholarship strategy, the exact strategy that I use to graduate completely debt free from college. Glory be to God. The same strategy that we teach our clients who have won millions of dollars in scholarships through our program. Also, glory be to God. And so we don't want you to miss out. Hopefully, I won't sound like this. I know I sound so crazy right now, but the information is going to be good. Just give me time to recover and heal. But I really want you all to join that. All you have to do to sign up is go to learn.sheeditsllc.com. I'm also going to drop that in the chat. Again, it's just learn, Learn, sheeditsllc.com. Space is limited, so go ahead and get signed up for that now. The scholarship season is it's like happening right now, and so I'm not exaggerating when I say that the more weeks that you miss, the more opportunities you're missing out on. Scholarship deadlines are quickly closing, and so there are scholarship deadlines that are going to close within the next couple weeks, that are going to close February 1st, and so that are going to close into February, March. And so you want to make sure that you are completely prepared for success. So I hope you all can join. That one more time is just learn.sheeditsllc.com. feel free to reach out to us via email. We answer our email really quickly and we're pretty consistent. So info@sheeditsllc.com is our email. I will type that in the chat as well. Make sure you shoot us any messages via email. We do check our direct messages, but we get a lot of DMs. And so email for sure is going to be the very best way to get a hold of us, because if you send us a DM, it is probably going to be delayed. So shoot us an email that will get answered 99% of the time within 24 hours. But again, thank you, Adriana, for such an
You're welcome.
amazing, informative session. That was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for everybody who participated in the chat. Again, we hope to see you soon. We hope this isn't the last time. We love just providing value to our community. So thank you once again. I'm going to stop this stream and I hope to see everybody on January 30th. Good night, everybody.
Good night.